Welcome back to the Girls Gone Wise podcast. This is part 3 of the fall of feminism. If you haven't caught part 1 and 2, I highly suggest you swing back and listen to those first. In part 3, we are going to tackle the dating dynamic nobody wants to talk about, but everybody is affected by. Without further ado, let's go to the show.
Let's talk about how men control the gate to relationship and commitment, and women control the gate to sex and affection.
We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah. But we got off topic.
Mm-hmm. What is your opinion on that?
Okay, so yeah, I'll talk. So women, I'm going to take the women part, control the gate to sex and affection. So we need to understand, like, our bodies are sacred. Like, they are not free access. I don't know where this free access paradigm came in, but a lot of women are getting really hurt. And the moment we are intimate with somebody, we actually lose power. We biologically get connected to them in a way that men don't. This is, again, biology. And so protecting ourselves by having standards and boundaries for when men get access to not even just intimacy, but firstly our time, our energy. Like, how are they showing up? If they're booty calling you at 11 p.m. and you're like, oh yeah, I'll just show up, what is that teaching him? It's teaching him, oh, I don't need to do anything.
And there's a good way of doing it too. Like, I used to be like getting mad at them, be like, oh, how dare you, but now I just don't respond. And it's like the most graceful and the most effective way of dealing with it is to not respond to bad behavior, because sometimes when you negatively react, they get kind of like a satisfaction out of that negative attention too, because some people are sick in a way that negative attention also fulfills their you know what I mean. So just don't respond. For both men and women, like, negative reaction is also not the healthiest.
No, some people get off on having any sort of attention. I mean, even if we look at the evolution,
show through your actions.
Yes, even if we look at the evolution of children, if they're not getting, like, the most hurtful thing is no attention. It's not actually negative attention. So if children aren't getting attention from their parents, if you study the psychology of childhood behavior, they will start to do negative things and become the rebel so that they can get at least negative attention, because no attention is the worst. So no answer is an answer. And I think that's a really powerful way to go about it. And if every single woman honored their body and treated their body as sacred and had initiated men into their manhood, essentially, what I mean by that is, picking them up, bringing them to dinner, like, it's.
And men should do the same thing, like, honor their the ability to protect and provide. Don't just give it to any woman who says hi to you or looks pretty. Like, just because a woman looks pretty doesn't mean you need to provide and protect them.
100%.
That's how you get hurt.
100%.
All women are horrible.
100%.
You gave that attention, that resource to a woman who didn't deserve it. It was your mistake. You have to take accountability, just like women have to take accountability. You can't just cry baby. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go out with any guy who asks me out and I trust them fully and give all my time and energy and my body to them, and then they hurt you and you say, oh, I'm the victim. No, take accountability. You didn't give it to the right person. Not all men are gonna abuse you and take advantage of you. You have to screen them. So same thing with men. I feel like a lot of men get hurt because they don't choose wisely. They don't have the discernment and then victimize themselves. No, take accountability. I didn't pay attention. I didn't see the red flags. I tried to ignore the red flags, and I did this to myself, not women as a whole. This woman was able to manipulate me because I didn't respect myself enough or ignore the red flags. Next time, I'm not going to. So I'm gonna attract a good woman.
100%. And this is like, there's a lesson in that. There's wisdom. And if we actually look at, in any place of life, but in terms of dating, relationship here, if we look at where we contributed to that dynamic, there's so much gold there. It's going to shift your actions. And one thing I did that I will offer anybody listening to this is I actually tracked past relationships. And because I was in a pattern, and I started to look at all these past relationships, and I realized it was the same pattern playing out in different forms. So with that data, I was able to shift my behavior which shifted my reality.
Accountability is always the answer.
Yeah, because we're always contributing to the dynamic.
Because you're the common denominator. Like as a man, if you're a man that women take advantage of you always, then yes, what they're doing is wrong, but how come it's happening to you all the time? What about the men that this doesn't happen to? What are they doing differently? So you have to, like, playing the victim card for both men and women is not the right answer.
No, it's never. I don't think in any area of life. And that quote, like, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. You actually have to take a different action. You have to change your behavior. Otherwise, you're going to get the same result over and over and over again.
Or omit certain actions.
Or omit certain actions.
Things
Yeah.
that you're doing that you shouldn't do.
Yeah. It's like what I said at the beginning about, you know, if you're constantly maybe getting sexually manipulated and you're just giving them access, you're, you know, just paying for a girl's shopping spree that you barely know and wondering why time and time again you're getting friend zoned or emotionally or sexually manipulated. Like, you need to take a different action and say, no, there's
no, I'm willing to provide and protect and give away my credit card to my wife.
Exactly.
I will still do that, but for the right person. It's not that the action is, it's like saying a woman having sex is wrong. No, that's not wrong. But a woman having sex with any random Joe, obviously, I think 99% of us agree that that's not the best way of existing out there. But that doesn't mean a woman should say, no, I will never, like, I will not have sex with my husband. You know what I mean? So same thing with guys, like, do the right thing, but just choose wisely. Just because she has a pretty face doesn't mean she has a pretty personality.
Exactly. And there is an order to things, right? It's like, you know, why are you giving wife privileges to a man who hasn't earned them? Or why are you giving husband privileges to a woman who hasn't earned them?
Doesn't mean those privileges are wrong, inherently wrong, but like, it's just not the right time and place for
exactly the structure, right? I mean, and there's a reason. It's controversial, so maybe I shouldn't say it.
I feel like I know what you want to say. I think it's controversial. Don't say it. I know you really well. I know exactly what I'm going to say. I agree with it, but I don't think it's something that,
I agree. Okay, so yeah, it's all context, right? It's because some people are like, oh, well, yeah, it's all context. There's a right time and a right place for things, that it's not about whether it's good or bad. It's about protecting you and what you actually want. And you can't treat somebody like a side gig or entertain a side gig if you want a wife or a husband, or you can't entertain this manipulation or, you know, somebody who has an OnlyFans account and actually want a traditional wife. They can't, not that we're degrading, they just don't coexist in the same reality. They cannot coexist. So what do you actually desire? And then where are you letting things that, instead of, oh, well, let me just work on me, like, where are you letting things in your life that don't align with that? That's more powerful than just because thinking there's maybe something to heal within you. And perhaps there is. I understand how trauma, I've studied trauma a lot, impacts our life. And sometimes it's just more simple of walking away or holding a boundary or holding a standard and say,
show through your actions.
Yeah.
Don't even argue, just actions, very gracefully.
Yeah.
Just walk away from that situation. You don't even have to fight or say mean things. If anything, you'll be remembered as the nice person, you know, when you just
100%, 100%. And honor yourself.
I made the mistake of over explaining myself in a toxic situation. It made me just look like a crazy person. I should have just walked away.
I think we all have. I definitely have.
Just show through your actions. That's one of the best lessons I've ever learned in my life. And I learned it late in life. Actions are way more powerful.
100%. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to share about the games women play and men fall for? To support men or women. We did talk about.
I've also noticed that men have a hard time discerning between genuine affection and fake attention. Like, I've seen a lot of like girls who like act nice or like super lovely and feminine on the surface, but they're not really. In reality, they're cutthroats and they're
manipulative,
gold diggers, but they just act super nice. I feel like a lot of men fall for that, whereas a lot of women who are a little bit, maybe a little tougher on the surface, they actually have more dignity and integrity. But I feel like some men have a hard time reading them, like seeing through that mask.
100%.
I think having a great like older mentor, like an older brother who's gone through it, or like a dad who, like if you have a good relationship with your father, it's really good to talk about that, because I think women, I've seen a lot of women use that weakness, like this, it's like an Achilles heel, and I don't know why, man. I see that a lot, where a woman just like on the surface, she's like super lovely and nurturing and fun and kind and innocent looking, but deep inside, you know that she doesn't have the right intentions. And men can't see through that mask, and I still don't know why.
It's I 100% agree.
Let us know if you know why, because actually I'm like super interested. If anybody knows why men can see through that facade or like that mask.
I don't even think it's just men, because I struggle with this in female friendships, as you know, and I'm a lot more discerning now, but for so long I just thought nice, surface level nice equated integrity, and I learned through life experience and some slaps in the face that those two don't correlate. You really have to, again, discern and see how people act. And there's somebody, I think if, again, it really comes deep down into intuition, because there's somebody new a long time ago, and she was like so sweet and so loving, and wow, she was deep down so manipulative, and I could see this pattern in her, but nobody else could. But she wasn't doing it to me. I think it's harder when it's getting done to you, because I've also experienced that, like I said, later in life, where it did get done to me, and in female friendships, and I had to learn deeper discernment. But here's the thing, when I actually track back, there was a part of me deep down that I was ignoring that knew that something
which
felt
goes
off.
back to what I said about accountability. So a man, I think, who falls for, like, has that pattern, needs to be like, instead of saying, oh, I hate all women, be like, what it is that I need to learn to be able to choose the right woman and not fall for this trick over and over and over again. And I think for both men and women, the best thing to do is to change yourself and work on yourself, instead of expecting the reality outside to change or hate it even. This is the world we live in. By hating it or resenting it, nothing good is gonna come out of that. You just have to learn to discern and pivot and navigate the world and get what you want, I guess.
And I think sometimes that's hard when you're hurt. And a reframe that's been really powerful for me is, okay, this thing was a lesson. I gained wisdom from it. I'm gonna actually look at this situation.
I wouldn't have been the same person without it.
Exactly. I wouldn't have the level of discernment I have without that experience. So thank goodness this happened, so that I could learn this and take this wisdom into a different relationship, my friendships, business, all the areas of life. So it's not even that one piece of wisdom only applies to one area.
The way you do anything is the way.
It can apply to all areas. And I know for me, one of my greatest lessons has been discernment, and I'm actually now deeply grateful for the challenges, because they taught me that. But when we're in it, it can be like the rug's pulled under us. So that's really helped me reframe it of like, thank goodness this happened. I actually am grateful, because now I can apply this wisdom, and I have applied it to other situations.
A man who can walk away from a toxic woman can walk away from a toxic boss. And, and reapply that
100%
every aspect of his life. So it's not about just women. I feel like men who get resentful and angry with women because they choose the wrong women and they don't know how to navigate the romantic world, I've seen a pattern with them having the same issues in a lot of them, not obviously everybody, but in their the other aspects of their life, like finances or work, career, stuff like that.
100%.
It's the same skill set that you can reapply to every other aspect of your life as well.
I agree. And, I think often the people who have gone through the biggest challenges and then take the wisdom from that are the wisest people, but they also are some of the most successful people holistically.
Sympathetic too. They understand
sympathetic
pain, so they know how to like give and
Yeah.
add value and service to people
Yeah.
who are going through stuff.
Yeah.
Again, resentment is not gonna
It's not
make
helpful.
you a better person.
And I think we've lost because of, you know, where social media is like, there's wisdom that comes with age, and there's a reverence for like older women or older men. Like I know there is women in my life that are mentors to me that I've known for many years that are my parents' age or some even older that have shared things with me that have been so powerful through their life experience. And I think for a long time, I didn't see the value of that. And now I'm like, wow, there's a level of reverence for older women. Like they hold a lot of wisdom, or older men. So I love that you said that, because, you know, we learn through life. And if we've been on this planet longer, typically we've learned more lessons, not always, but there's a power in learning from the mistakes of other people, or seeking advisement or counsel when you're in it, from somebody who can have an outside perspective. I think that's important. I mean, even like you've shared things with me sometimes from outside perspective or vice versa. It's like when we're in it, it's sometimes hard to see. So don't get hard on yourself, because you can know all the things about the brain and psychology and the lenses, but when you're in it, it can be hard to see. But if there's somebody outside of you that can give you a different perspective, again, still trust your own intuition, that can be supportive at times. Anything else to say? Oh, men control the gateway to relationship and commitments. We did talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, you were gonna act.
But so essentially, men, there's levels of provision when you're dating somebody. You don't just go and like give all your resources to a woman who hasn't earned that level of provision. Like the agreement isn't when you just meet somebody, right? I want to speak from a woman's side if we honor.
I just feel like a good example, like a real world example of that principle. I've noticed that women, for them to go down in the level of commitment that they expect, the guy has to go higher in value. But the reverse happens for men. The more the commitment is not an issue, a man is willing to go as low as possible on the value hierarchy.
Can you explain a tangible example?
For example, a woman who's willing to have a one-night stand will only do that with like a celebrity or a guy who's like super out of touch. They won't slump, they won't go down of the value that they're usually attracted to. But men, because they don't hold the gate to sex and affection, they hold the gate to provision and commitment. Because they're not giving any kind of commitment, they're willing to go down. Like a lot of men will have one-night stands with girls they picked up at a club that they would usually not even be attracted to, because they're not really giving anything away in that story. Whereas like women will never go lower when they go more casual. Does that make sense? For a woman to go more casual that she usually does, the man has to be higher in value. Does that make sense? And I think it has something to do with that gate situation. Because you're holding, there has to be a higher value for you to lower the gates opening or the gates offering, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
But the opposite applies to men too. Men, when they give commitment, they want to go higher in the value. Like they will have a one-night stand with a woman that's in their world, their fantasy or like value structure is a 1 out of 10. They're okay to have a one-night stand with that. But they're with that woman, but they're not willing to marry a woman like that. For them to give the full commitment, they want to go higher on it. Like they want to go
Yeah.
for their version of a 10 out of 10. But the
Yeah.
reverse happens for women. Women are sometimes willing to settle if they don't find their 10 out of 10 with a guy who they don't think has valuable, but they're willing to marry that guy because he's giving all the commitment. So they're willing to go down on the scale. So you can see a woman who wants to settle down, settle with a 5 out of 10 in their own world, in their own version of a reality or value structure. But a woman will never have a one night stand with their 5 out of 10. They will have a one night stand. Even a woman who never has a one night stand may change her rules for one night if it's George Clooney. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, though? Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I think that applies, and it's very dangerous. Yeah. Where we muddy like the line between the male side of this and the female side. I think when you think that it's liberating for women to just go and have outside and have casual sex, you're not taking into consideration that Gates law.
Yeah, because you're lowering your value essentially by doing it, because the man hasn't had to earn that. Like that's a privilege, that's a right. And this is why I think women, we need to understand that our body, our energy is so sacred, it's so powerful, and so many women are just giving it away, and no shame, but for free or for very low value, which teaches men that they don't actually need to, you know, provide commitment, provide relationship. And so they haven't earned that right, and you're giving away for free, therefore they're not valuing it, therefore they're not valuing you. And this is why women get so confused.
The examples that I provided for you are the real life examples of how that rule actually applies in society. Because a man doesn't care about commitment and provision. He's the one providing. So he's okay to have casual sex with a woman who like he doesn't really admire. But you can't say the opposite for a woman. A woman will never have never lower her standard of entry, like the gate doors, for a man who's lesser than, you know, like everybody has their own. I don't think anybody's lesser or higher. I'm just saying for everybody there are certain parameters and like value structures that they apply to their own lives. But within that value structure, the gate rules still apply. Women will go down for commitment. Men will go down for sex.
Because women usually want the commitment and the protection provision. Again, biologically, it's innate.
And I see that in real life.
And then men typically like are wanting sex and affection and emotional support. And so I think the more we can hold our standards for both sides, women, like allow a man to show you that he's gonna give, like there needs to be a commitment level before you just give over everything. And then also
for men, you should see a loyalty level before you give away your
resources and your commitment, etc. Exactly. Oh, that was it. We hope you guys enjoyed the games women play and men fall for. Hopefully this illuminated a lot of what is going on, the manipulation tactics that women use that we don't actually agree with, because they cause a lot of destruction in the world, and we know they're coming from a wounded place. So we have compassion as well, zero judgment, but pretty power, dark games. Just because somebody's beautiful does not mean they have the purest intent. Trust your intuition, and you don't need to put up with it. Once you know, honor yourself and move on. Bye.
Anything else? Bye.
Again, Girls Gone Wise, Jill and Regine.
Thanks for listening to the Girls Gone Wise podcast, where we share our life lessons so that you can learn from our mistakes. We'll see you next week.